Hello, welcome to take two of this week's update. The microphone was swung way out the way, which was excuse me, which is a right pain in the bottom. This is take two. So moving swiftly on, channel update. Earlier this week, went up the sprue tour of the Airfix B24, beautifully moulded kit. The panel line detail is up there with everybody else. Airfix have arrived with their panel line detail. It's stunning actually, and the rest of the detail inside as well is beautiful. Externally, to go with those lovely panel lines are some really quite nice rivets actually, and it looks a stunning kit. So go and have a look at that review if you haven't already. Unfortunately, I slightly overexposed it at the bench, which I apologise in advance, but you know, learning all the time. There's another one going out next week as well, another new Airfix kit. The part one of the Tripala video, so that's the Hispano-Suiza engined 109, the Spanish thing with the SBS conversion. The part one, the intro, went up last week, and part two is about to be uploaded. I'm going to do it at the same time as I do this. I finished editing and doing the narration on that today, so that's going to go up on Sunday. Part two deals with the cockpit and the actual conversion in the airframe itself, getting it ready for primer. I included the cockpit within that video and just made it very short because it's straight from the box. Excuse me, itchy nose. Wouldn't be a video from me without an itchy nose. Yeah, I've done a couple of 109s on the channel already in 72nd and 48th. And I didn't think it would be adding too much value to do that as a standalone. Therefore, I've combined it with the airframe and the conversion and the construction on that. So you can go ahead and watch that this Sunday at, I think it goes out, 1600 UK time. So wherever you are in the world, you can work out where that is, what time that will be. Project update then. This bloody thing. Right, this is the Kinetic Sea Harrier, and it's fighting me all the way. I knew it would. I knew what I was getting myself into when I took it on. The cockpit is Ares, and it's beautifully detailed, but as is traditional with Ares, it doesn't really fit. It was approximately 2mm too wide. I really wish Ares, if they're going to market a cockpit for a specific kit, just make it at least close to fitting. I mean, this was miles off. Anyway, got it in there, and actually really pleased with how it looks. It looks brilliant. The instrument consoles and the instrument panel is from Kit's World. And I said in the intro, which I've recorded for this, obviously that's not going out yet, that'll start going out after the Tripala. But I say in the intro that I've used Kit's World once before, their 3D printed decor instrument panel, and it was on the Airfix Chipmunk, and there was like a white line on everything, on the belts, on the instrument panels, and it's a bit annoying because you've got to trim it off and then touch it in with a bit of paint. But this looked better. It's not better. It was there as well. But it's a simple job to trim it off, if I'm honest, and then just touch it in with a tiny bit of paint. And it looks really, really nice. I'm very pleased with how that comes out. And the instrument panel is all done. It's all in one piece with the shroud, with the coaming, which you have to cut away. And test fits are really good. It just drops in seamlessly, pretty much, and looks fabulous. I've used the Quick Boost detailed air brake bay. I'm going to have that slightly open because that used to droop with hydraulic bleed after the engine shut down. It is more detailed. Again, that doesn't quite fit. It's pushing the fuselage out a little bit, so it's too wide. And relatively simple fix where the air brake's going to go in the hinges. But the undercarriage doors on the Harrier, the early Harriers, I'm assuming the later ones do it as well, they're closed on the ground, and they droop ever so slightly. And with it being a bit too wide, I'm gonna have to just add a bit of strip, I think, to bulk out the undercarriage doors and have those, like I say, just sort of slightly ajar, if you like. So not particularly looking forward to that job. The fuselage seam, the underside has been completely rescribed, pretty much. Really pleased with how that's turned out. On the nose, I've added some vinyl for a raised panel. I've cut the flange off the nose because that's going to make it easier to fit, and I've put a bit of nose weight in the nose cone, and I don't think this is going to be a tail sitter, but you never know. So belt and braces on that. And then that brings me to the intakes, which are a horrendous fit, frankly. So I've used the Aftermarket, can't remember the company's name now, unfortunately, 3D printed fan blade, which looks absolutely stunning. That is well worth it. Put that in, mounted that to the kit sort of shroud thing, and there was a gap all the way around the outside of the shroud with a cutout. So it looked like it's supposed to be flush. So that was a bit of a weird one. Anyway, ended up filling that, which was a bit of a pain because actually I should have studied it. There's a flange on the external intakes that goes over the top and kind of slots in. And obviously I'd filled it. So I had to cut the flange off. When I test fit the intakes, the top and bottom external fit was okay, and the contours kind of matched almost. The fit inside was horrible, massive gaps. That was filled with perfect plastic putty. But the worst job really, I think, was on the outside, on the sort of 9 o'clock, 3 o'clock position. They stuck it out by probably about a millimetre, or maybe not that much, but you know, a massive step outside. And then we all know the sort of doors droop on the top and they're flush on the bottom, but the sort of bits that sort of are the door mountings, if you like, don't reach the fuselage. Almost like they're short shot. So I thought, well, I could just add a bit of plastic card there. But actually what I did in the end was just glue them on. And then I used a whole load of filler, my favourite Mr. Hobby epoxy filler. Filled in all the gaps. And then this morning when it was dry, sanded the whole lot down. So some quite aggressive sanding. And polishing back up the plastic, and then I've gone in and I've done a whole load of rescribing, and actually the intakes now look really, really good. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out, but it's been a lot of work. Right, next up, the wings. It's a one-piece upper wing and fuselage that goes on the top, sort of typical Harrier breakdown. The underwings don't fit on the outside, and there's gaps on the leading edge. So bit of carving, bit of gluing, a lot of sanding, that's done. But there was a big step on the underside. So I've glued in, you might be able to see the white plastic strips. I've glued white plastic strip, and that has done a really good job actually. I've added a spacer on the inside because there were horrendous gaps on the underside. So that has spread it out. And I've added on the lower wing parts some thick plastic card which pushes the underwing to match the contour of the fuselage. And actually all that work has left me with, on the underside, it'll just take a little bit of Mr. Surfacer, swipe that off just to seal everything in, and yeah, that's good. I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. That's going to look quite neat, I think, at the end. The real problem is on the top, though. Gaps at the back and a slight mismatching contours. Not too bad. That'll be Mr. Hobby epoxy filler, sanded down, all full rescribing job, but massive gaps at the front. I could shim it, but actually, again, I think I'm just going to go with the Mr. Hobby epoxy over the front. The sort of the top part sits too proud, so that was chamfered, and the mounting ledge on the fuselage was cut down just to minimise that work, and I could probably get away with actually just a bit of perfect plastic putty just to fair that in, and then again a big rescribing job. So that's that so far. It's fighting me every step of the way. The last thing is I cut the mounting flange off on the nose because the nose cone didn't fit either particularly very well. So that's much better. My goodness me. Yeah, like I say, I knew what I was getting myself into, and it's come to pass. But weirdly, I'm kind of enjoying it. I'm enjoying it because I'm beating it. I'm beating it into submission. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's going to look. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention. One self-induced problem is I painted the inside of the intakes white. And they weren't white, they were extra dark sea grey. So I've had a nightmare job. So in the silhouette cutter, I've designed a mask for the fan blades, put that in place, masked off the sort of intake lip bit, and painted that extra dot sea grey. And it was a bloody nightmare to try and shoot the paint in there. But I've saved it. Right, crikey. Yeah, what a bloody nightmare. But as I said, I'm winning. I'm beating it to submission. I'm still enthused about the project, even though it's fighting me. Anyway, so that is that. Coming to the channel very soon, as soon as the Drapala's finished. Right, on to the news then. Academy have announced. Well, they announced it a few years ago. As it's turned out, it's in the catalogue, but it's kind of disappeared. I think 2 years ago they announced the F4 Wildcat. Beautiful box art, actually, really nice looking. I'll stick a picture up here. It comes with folded wings. So if you're a fan of aeroplanes that look like dead pigeons and obscures all the cockpit detail and frankly looks a bit weird, then you can go for that one. If it's anything like their Zero, it's maybe 80% as good as the Edward one. But like I say, this comes with the wing fold. So if you wanted a folded wing Wildcat, look out for that. That's out very soon. Another new kit is the Airfix surprise announcement of their Spitfire Mark 8. Everyone knew it was coming. Just the parts breakdown told you that the Mark 8 was coming. And actually, I prefer the 8 to the 9. It was a better aeroplane. It had longer range. They should have used it in the European theatre with the extended range. They could have escorted the B-17s much further. Yeah, Commander-in-Chief, Fighter Command, was... I've forgotten his name now. He was the 12 Group Commander in the Battle of Britain. Keith Park's nemesis. Not Sholto Douglas. Lee Mallory. I knew it would come to me. Lee Mallory. He was an absolute idiot. The absolute wrong bloke to be in that position. And frankly, they could have extended the range of the Spitfire quite easily and played a better role, actually, in escorting the Merkins sausage side. But anyway, I'm digressing. The Mark 8, some really, really nice schemes to go with that. And no doubt there's going to be a plethora of aftermarket schemes coming. I'll stick a picture up here with some of the schemes on, but very colourful. Yes, there's a grey nurse sharp mouth one, but not Bobby Gibbs, which is nice because, you know, it's almost a cliche, isn't it? And I've done Bobby Gibbs's Mark 8 Spitfire in 48th. But that's going to be a lovely kit. It's a little bit more expensive than the Mark 9, but the Mark 9's been out a year or two now. And, you know, with inflation, it's only about, I think, £5 more, something like that. But no doubt you'll be able to hunt out a bit of a discount at your favourite online retailers. So look out for that one. Too big for me. But I know that Matthew at Laminar Flow Designs is going to be designing a Mark 14 conversion for it. And that's going to look amazing in 24 scale. I might even be tempted, but let's see how the 30-second one goes first. And right, some aftermarket stuff now. So Mike, a friend of mine, Mike Reeves, Phase Hanger Resin, has done this neat little strengthening blah for your Tamiya Corsair. So if you want to do a Tamiya Corsair spread, and why wouldn't you, then you can get this little 3D printed widget that supports both wings really quite sturdily. And yeah, that's really welcome. So well done, Mike. Please have a look at some of the other aeroplanes out there, sort of, you know, Airfix Sea Fury, Hobby Boss, Fulmer, things like that. That would be really, really welcome. And if you could do it for the Hasegawa A7 Corsair 2, I'd love it to bits, because I really want to build that kit. Just so many projects coming. So look out for that. And Roy Sutherland at Barracuda has released a whole load of 72nd Mosquito bits and bobs for the Airfix kit. There's 2 sets of wheels, there's exhausts, there's an update set, there's an engine correction update set. There's some VACFORM canopies which are designed and moulded by Falcon, so quality assured. There's undercarriage detail sets. Looks absolutely... Ooh, my voice went then. Looks absolutely phenomenal, all those bits and pieces. And I'm really, really tempted now to go out and get an Airfix Mosquito and use all those bits on, because that was, you know, that's really going to raise it up. I don't know if he's doing the bomb aimers blister nose Scrinson at the front. I wish he would, because it's a little bit thick in the Airfix kit. Nice and clear, but yeah, that will be really, really welcome as well. In 48 scale, he's also doing a set of the RP rockets, and I'm really tempted by those as well, because I've got a project up there that would suit those really, really nicely. So I think I might hold off on that project and just wait until they're released. They're going to get released very soon. Roy at the moment is at the US Nationals, and so they're not actually uploaded to the website yet, but you know, give him a week or so, post Nationals, calm down, and they'll be available very, very soon. But they look absolutely stunning. And that's it. I've come to the end. Watch out for continuing sprue tours. I'll be dropping one a week as we go along over the next sort of month or so. Yeah, so look out for those, and look out for the Tripala. I'm really pleased with how that model's turned out, and obviously the main one is the conversion bits and pieces. Yeah, so that's coming out this week, so look out for that, and look out for updates on the Facebook page as well on the Sea Harrier. And I'm hoping by next week's update it's going to be, if not ready for paint, maybe into primer, maybe even painting has started. We shall see how I get on with all the filling and rescribing for that wing. Wish me luck. So yeah, look out for lots coming on the channel, and I'll see you soon. Cheers, bye bye.